All right, so in this video, I have a pair of sneakers that I was very interested in, and I requested that Adidas send these over. This is the Adidas Ozweego Pros, and I was like, wait a minute, like this does not look like the Ozweegos that I know from Adidas website. The Pro version, I guess I was just confused of why this was called the Pro. So I did a little bit more research and tried to figure out kind of the reasons why or what this is kind of themed after. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Hopefully you guys will find it somewhat informative. The Ozweegos that we see on Adidas website is kind of more themed after the 2019 version of the Ozweegos. The original Ozweegos actually released in 1996, but that still doesn't really solve the problem here of why these are called the Pros, because these look nothing like the 1996 version of the original Ozweegos either. So where do these fall in line? It looks like it's kind of themed more after the Ozweego Millennium because of the way that the midsole structure is. You can see again the gap here in the plastic plate. Also the three stripes on the side also kind of resemble the Millennium. So maybe that's the reason why this is like a new version of that. Why it's called the Pro is kind of a mystery, but let's go ahead and get in to see what Adidas says on their website. So the retail on these are $130. They were actually $150, so they dropped down the retail price on them a little bit, which I think is an awesome plus. The mesh 2000s inspired sneaker with TPU accents. Energize your every step with the laced up pair of Adidas Ozweego Pros, drawing design cues from an iconic 2000s runner. The textile mesh upper features welded lines and metallic accents for a luxe, futuristic look. Underfoot and EVA mold provides extra comfort to keep you on the move. So the reviews on their website have a 4.8 out of 5-star rating, so that's obviously pretty high accolades. I would say overall, just looking at the shoe, I really like what they did with it. Like obviously from pictures you see a shoe and it looks very like 2000s-esque as you would imagine because it's inspired by a 2000 type runner. But then you get them in and you kind of look even closer and you see all of the different details of the upper. So it's a mesh runner. As you can see, there's mesh underlays, but then over top of the mesh, you have a fused overlay kind of in a silver metallic sort of color there. And then you also have another fused overlay over top of that in a different type of fused material for the three stripes, more of a plasticky rubberized fused material. And I love that there's kind of a gradient sort of fade to that as well. With the blue trim and everything, it just gives it kind of like a fun cartoony sort of effect. Also on the mesh, I like that you have embroidered lines that kind of swirl around the shoe as well. Just another fine detail that they're throwing in the mix that you just honestly wouldn't expect. And I like that those embroidered lines line up to the lines in the fused material and the metallic as well. Like it all just kind of flows together. It's very detailed looking shoe once you actually get it in hand. Then you do have an extra panel of material on the toe cap area as well as on the side panel of the shoe. And then you have actually a nylon piping around the other layer as well. And I like that. That's another fun little detail that they did in 2000 era that I remember seeing in a lot of different sneakers where you had just a fun little piping around so it's not a raw edge. It just gives it a nice little accent. And I like that that accent color is done in red. It just kind of draws your attention to it because of it. Now the mesh liner is kind of cool as well. It kind of has like two different tones to that. And that's on the collar, but on the tongue, you can see you have a red mesh liner instead. This colorway, again, I'd say this over and over again, but the people that do the color blocking over at Adidas, for the most part, you always come up with like some really solid, dope color choices that I wouldn't have actually chosen. Like this is a really nice color blocking, not one that I would have created, and I think that it just flows together really well. You have that plastic TPU around the heel of the shoe for extra support there, but also it comes down and underneath the midfoot of the shoe as well. And then for the midsole, it looks like this says it is Adiprene Plus for the cushioning. So overall, it really reminds me of a very, very different pair of Ozweego sneakers. It's not as chunky as like the 2019 pair. It's more of like an Ozweego in like that mesh runner 2000 sort of vibe. So very small like details of the Ozweego, but I like that they draw on some sorts of the heritage from the Ozweego line, like the Millennium, to make this shoe what it is. I wish there was a little bit better storytelling about the shoe. Honestly, it's kind of one of those things that if Adidas embraces the storytelling, especially when they're drawing from heritage models, to be able to have like those parallels drawn up in the advertisements or something like that, or even just an image on the page showing like the old one and then like a morph into the new one, or something where it's like pointing, like literally like dissecting and pointing to the inspiration from the heritage stuff. I feel like that would help Adidas a lot because not everybody's been a day one with Adidas. And something that I've realized, like my kid playing Fortnite right now as an example, he really loves Fortnite, but he wasn't old enough to play Fortnite when it originally came out. He was just a baby. So the fact that there's all these skins and stuff that were in the item shop in the past, he doesn't really have as much knowledge about those ones as all of the new ones that enter the shop. The only reason why he even knows about them is from content creators and stuff, people talking about how like rare a certain skin is or whatever. But bringing it back to the Ozweegos, not everybody that even works at Adidas has been onto the Adidas Ozweegos from 1996. There's some people that may know that that was the original one, and then there's like a 2019 version. That's the one that I'm most familiar with. There's been tons of different models that has been released between those two models that nobody really even knows about, or a very small amount of people know about. So if they draw heritage from the archives and stuff, they should like let us know, so I can like properly let you guys know of the history and stuff of some of the products, because honestly it's like one of those things that it's like forgotten almost, and we don't want to forget about it, right? We want new people to discover and like see the heritage and draw the parallels, and then that helps them go, oh yeah, this is kind of cool, it's part of this, this, and that. Like it gives you some sort of lineage to go, okay, that's why this is called the Pro or whatever, because I still don't know why this is called the Pro model. It could be called the Millennium V2 for all I know. But regardless of that, I'm nitpicking there. At the end of the day, I think it's a really cool looking pair. And I like that it is, again, like a 2000s inspired mesh runner. And Adidas like has a ton of them, man, from back in the day. In fact, the only pair of Adidas that I had before the Iversons is one pair of Adidas mesh runners, and I don't even know the name of that model, but it was super lightweight and comfortable, and it was like just a stylish looking pair, and I wore it all the time. I got it at like Marshall's or Ross or something like that back in the day. Anyways, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think about the Ozweego Pros. If you guys are interested in buying a pair, I'll link them in the description. They are on sale for $130 right now, which is an awesome price point. I think this is by far the best colorway out of the three, but the other two colorways are a lot more subtle, so if this one stands out a little bit too much for you, you can get one of the neutral colorways that they have available as well. But appreciate y'all for stopping in and watching, and for anybody that has more heritage information about like the Ozweego, feel free to drop some knowledge in the comment section. I always appreciate that. Anyways, have a good rest of the day. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and hopefully we'll see you back on the channel for some more content soon. Peace, guys.